I think the more everybody talks about things, everything gets better.
I hope our next generation, it's easier for them. I feel like we're kind of paving a little bit of the way, like our generation with all of this. I mean, obviously with hormones, we are for sure.
We got to school and he goes, "Are we done yet?" And I go, "No, there's one more stop."
Just knowing that like they're not alone and they're not crazy, because I think that's the biggest thing.
I want to help women talk about things that they're scared to, because not everybody has a friend group like we do. Cheers.
Cheers. We're back
right.
for another episode.
We are so excited.
Yes.
Oh, Shivani's on our show today. Yay.
The famous Shivani.
So Shivani has been one of my best friends for a long time.
She's a best friend.
Yeah. She always gets mad at me if I don't. So I have to.
I'm highly sensitive. I dish a lot of shit talking. I can't take any in return.
I know. It is true. She does. Yeah, you do. You do that. Anyway, she's getting her marriage and family therapist in December. And we're so excited for that. And she is an Instagram influencer.
No.
She's an Instagram influencer and everybody loves her. And she is working in mortgages right now. So she is running herself ragged.
It's a lot. It's a lot going on at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
I got a dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of dog did you get?
Bernedoodle, which I heard that people feel about Bernedoodles the same way they feel about people who drive Cybertrucks.
Oh.
Like people will just
Ouch.
automatically
It's
not.
polarizing subject, huh?
Yeah, people
All
will just
right.
automatically hate you as soon as they see it, because I didn't know this. I just saw this dog on Instagram and it had the same coloring as my dog growing up, Rottweiler St. Bernard. Bernese Mountain Doodle mixed
He's
with
so
Bernedoodle.
freaking
Seems like a good
cute.
idea.
But
He's
people,
so cute.
people get mad about this. The
But
dog
why?
people,
Because he's a poshy dog.
they're apparently called designer dogs, and the dog people get really upset that everyone is ruining all these breeds by mixing them with doodles.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's so many doodle mixes.
Anyways, the dog sent me over the edge. Like,
Today.
not today, just
in
in
life.
life. Like when you say I have a lot going on, it was all fine until the dog.
Well, it's because it's like having another baby again.
No, it's worse because you didn't have to worry about your newborn shitting in the corner or chewing up your shoes.
That's
This is true.
Yeah,
They were not mobile.
that's true.
Is it a he or a she?
He,
He. What's his name?
Rocky.
Rocky.
And he's real cute.
Does Rocky like the kennel?
Yeah, he's in the crate.
Yeah.
The crate chained.
Yeah. It's a safe space for
You
Rocky.
just keep it in a safe space. So I wanted to tell everybody, I'm not going to break HIPAA here because Shivani told me it was okay to say certain things. She's
Oh.
looking at me like, oh my God, what are you going to say? Shivani has been going through some menopausal, perimenopausal stuff for a long time now, but she didn't want to listen to me.
So this is a fun story.
She was in her own way. She was standing in her own way.
Should I start all the way at the beginning?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
This is all about you, Shiv.
Okay, so when I'm pregnant,
Oh, we're at the very beginning.
Taking it way back. With which child?
well, I'm just going to say all pregnancies because I'm going to start here with a moment of like feminism, because if anyone told a man that you're going to be barfing every day for 9 months, because that's what happens to some of us, is every single day for 9 months. You're at work, you're barfing under your trash can because you can't make it to the bathroom in time, or nor do you have time to go to the bathroom as many times as you need to vomit in a day. Nobody would do that. No man would be like, cool, I'll have the stomach flu for 9 months.
No,
Which is why women have babies and
yeah,
not men.
not men.
But you're also going to push a giant sized object out of a not giant sized opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But we do it. Nobody else would do this shit. And then following that follows this like whole cascade of hormonal problems.
Right.
And so after I have a baby, I feel, and it happened all 3 times when I'm in that postpartum time, it's like I can feel my hormones like whooshing in my body. And I feel like I could breathe fire sometimes on people.
Like it's coming out of your soul.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But then it goes away.
Mhm.
Well, I was getting done breastfeeding my third, Anju. And so it's like a year postpartum. I'm 37 at the time, right? But maybe 36, maybe 30, 36, 37.
She's 3 at this point today. So
Yeah.
I mean, not today, but like she's 3.5.
Yeah, Anju's 3.
So just
not
for
me,
time,
obviously.
yeah, for time reference.
But I started to feel that feeling coming back where I could breathe fire on people. And I was like, uh-oh, something's got to be wrong with my hormones. So Staci ran my lab work and gave me very specific instructions. She said, you need to start some hormone replacement therapy. You need to start progesterone. You need to start estrogen.
Yeah, I forgot which one it was at the beginning, like what we decided on.
Oh, but I'm skipping a whole story where I just went to somebody else and got put on. So at this time, I also actually, Staci never ran my labs. I'm telling the story wrong. I went somewhere else, had my labs run. He said, I'm going to put you on progesterone. Of course, I don't do anything unless I ask Staci. So then I had Staci look at the labs and she's like, I think there might be more going on here. I need to start testosterone also, and maybe estrogen, and we can monitor. So she calls me in testosterone. And I just didn't do it.
She didn't listen to me.
I didn't do anything.
Wasn't very friendly.
I didn't do anything. I just didn't. I don't know why. I was like, I'm not doing it. Well, for sure, part of the testosterone not taking it was I didn't want to mess up my laser hair removal.
Yeah, she thinks
I was going to say there
done.
had to have been a fear component, or
she was like I don't want to like grow a beard. Like that's
well, and I'm Indian. I don't know if you know this.
She's a very easy time growing
you have
a beard.
beautiful hair. Yes,
everywhere.
Everywhere. It's beautiful.
There's hair everywhere all the time.
Okay.
Well. So listen, we don't need to make that worse. So I was like, Staci goes,
she's the queen of tinkling.
She goes, it might mess up your laser hair removal. And I think in my head, I was like, and we're done. I'm not going to pick that up. I'm not going to pick up that prescription.
Check, please.
I knew I had to tell her every single like side effect, because if she was like, I see one stray hair, you didn't tell me that was going to mess up my laser hair removal.
Yeah.
This isn't pellets.
That's fair.
Remember from our first episode, we don't do pellets.
Yeah.
Of testosterone.
Right.
One of my friends actually, now she's your patient. But I saw her and I was like, why do you look amazing? She's like, I started testosterone pellets. Yeah. She had lost weight. She was feeling better.
They feel so good.
Until they don't.
Because, testosterone makes you feel good. You can, lose weight. You can build muscle. You have energy. Sprout some chest hairs.
Maybe some more hairs. But until they don't, I feel like there's like this,
or
or
there's
they
been
start going
enough
down,
of
and they're like, "Why am I losing my hair? And why am I angry?" And then their testosterone's through the roof,
or they get acne, or and then a lot of them will be like, so this was
pellets.
They'll be like, this pellet got put in, and then my testosterone levels were like skyrocket through the roof, and you can't do anything.
But people love them. So I mean, to each their own, right? It's your own health. But it's just not how I operate. But you thought like you went down the I'm gonna have so much testosterone like a pellet route.
I don't think I really thought about it too hard, to be fair. I wasn't directly thinking I'm gonna disobey Staci on a daily basis.
She does.
But I just didn't do it. And then Staci was like, have you picked up your testosterone? And I was like, no. Or I would say, I'm going today. And then I just didn't go. So I'm doing only progesterone, and it's like a year in, and all of a sudden I have like a Dexter style period. Like
Can we go back really quick? She was cycling progesterone.
Yeah.
You were cycling it. You weren't doing it every day.
And I don't know why I was cycling it. Maybe Google told me.
Oh, that's good.
Because ChatGPT told her.
No. I don't think ChatGPT would give you that bad of advice. Charlie,
we love Charlie. That's
Charlie rarely fails you. Google will fail you hardcore. But I was cycling progesterone. So I was taking it the last 14 days of my cycle. And so then one day on day 7 of my period, when it should be almost over, it was like a faucet turned on. Like all of a sudden I'm gushing blood. Like after 5 days of this, so now I've been on my period 7 + 5, 12. 12 days. I text Staci, I'm like, dude, something's up. Like I'm like soaking a pad an hour. And she goes, yeah, you might have to go to the ER. Like something might be wrong. I was like, I'm not going to the ER. No, you don't go to the ER to get help. You go to the ER to die. Like it's a horrible place. I remember one time when I was pregnant with my second, I thought I was having a miscarriage, and they were like, you need to go to the ER. And I was like, will they be able to stop the miscarriage from happening? And they were like, no. I'm like, then I'm going to go ahead and stay here at home and just let this play out. I hate going to the ER.
Yeah.
They're so mean to you. Aww. It's like the nurses in triage. They're so mean to you when you show up when you're not fully in labor. They like slap you and send you home.
Yeah.
I don't like going to the ER. I'm not going unless it's fair. You go there to die. But Staci's like, you have to go. I was like, no, I'm not going.
You actually listened to me that time.
I went, and it was so embarrassing. I left my office to go to the ER, and I changed my pad before I got in the car, and then I have white vented seats in my car. And by the time I got to the ER, I was sitting in blood, like a pool of blood. Shit. I go inside. They're like, they have me sit down. There ends up being blood on that chair. It was so embarrassing. They take me back. They had to do a pelvic exam in the ER. Highlight, like if you highlight, you're not really living until you've had a pelvic exam in the ER where they have to use suction. And it sounds like the dentist's office to find your cervix.
There's so
Oh,
much blood.
buddy.
I know. It's so sad.
The guy goes, is there any chance you could be pregnant? And Josh had appeared at some point in all this. And Josh goes, no.
Thanks, Josh.
And I was
That's
like,
helpful.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm literally here bleeding out and you're concerned about how much you're getting laid? Really? That's what's happening right now?
Number one priority, Chef.
The ER doctor has to like tell him to be calm, like be quiet for a second, and then asks me, is there any chance? Oh, Josh goes, no, I've had a vasectomy. And then the guy looks at me and goes, is there any chance you could be, that you've had, that you could still be pregnant? And I'm like, no, dude, no.
You're
I
like,
don't-
no, and that's not.
The last shit I want to do is have sex with more people than the one person I already have to have sex with. That's it. And he goes, so then he has to do the suction. And I'm looking at Josh and I'm like, what the fuck have you had to do for this family? I'm literally, it's like, he is suctioning the blood out so he can find my cervix right now to find out if there's a problem. They do an ultrasound and they're like, we're going to send you home with some high hormone birth control. I don't listen to them either. So I don't take that birth control.
She didn't take it. I was like, hey.
But I don't know if you guys have this, but when I get on birth control and when I get off, I'm psychotic for 1 month getting on and I'm psycho for 1 month getting off. So I'm not taking a 7-day dose of a high hormone birth control. So I didn't take it. And then I follow up with my OB and then she's like, she didn't run hormones or give a shit about hormones. She just looked at my ultrasound of my uterus and she's like, I think we should just take it out because you don't need it anymore. I'm like, why do we have to fuck with me like this? Isn't there any other options maybe that's not as serious as a hysterectomy? Oh, wait, you could just listen to what your friend had told you to do 12 months ago. So then I'm still not listening. I'm going against medical advice on having the hysterectomy, against medical advice on the hormone therapy, and I'm just standing in my own way. And in one of my classes as a therapist in internship, we were talking about how a symptom of depression will be like, you'll just be paralyzed. You won't take action to help yourself. You'll just be stuck for no good reason. I was like, holy fuck, I'm depressed. So then I call Staci. I'm like, I need to get on Lexapro.
No, that's not how it happened. We were going on a girls' trip.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And she was like, we were walking on the airplane and she sat down by me. There's like 9 of us. And she said to me, she's like, 5:40 in the morning, right? She's like, I need you to put me on Lexapro. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Why? She's like, I'm depressed. I was like, do you want to try the hormones first and see if that will help you? And you said, oh, I guess so.
I get home and I'm talking to one of my friends, another patient of Staci's, and she's like, so did you like read an article that made you think you shouldn't do it? I was like, no. She goes, did somebody tell you they had like a bad experience? I was like, no. She goes, are you talking about that study that's really old and outdated? I was like, no. She goes, so you're just wanting to stay miserable. And then it clicked and I was like, I'm going to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then she called me at 9 p.m. I was like, I need you to prescribe me hormones. I need to get my blood work done. I was like, wow.
You guys,
It's only taken 12 months to come around.
Did you know this, I'm sure, but I'm not sure if everyone listening would know this, but women between the ages of 45 and 55 are prescribed antidepressants at the highest rate of any population.
It's also the highest
Could it-
suicidal rate.
Yeah, that's what I
Could
was
it
just-
have anything to do with your hormones?
Yeah.
Because I was in such a bad spot. I was telling Staci, I was like, I don't want to talk to people. I love people. We also had before the girls trip, we had a family trip to Mexico. I would rather be in my room than go down to the pool and be with everyone, which is not like me at all. And then I was like, so I work a ton and I don't get to spend a ton of time with my family. But when I would be home with my family, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to hang out with the kids. I didn't want to engage with anybody. I was like, something's fucking wrong. I think I'm depressed. But since I started hormones, there's this underlying sense of panic that has gone away. I might not be driven to do as much stuff. We'll see. I might become an underachiever instead of an overachiever.
Which maybe we can use a little balance.
But I'm like calmer.
We don't pick up the kids in an Uber on a Wednesday. It's just like not as structured. She picked up my children in an Uber.
I remember this story. We talked about this at Vintage Affair.
I
love you so much, but I was like, what is happening right now? Why is there an Uber in my driveway to go to school? And then we had to go to Starbucks in the Uber because
I don't think the Uber was the problem in the story. I think the Starbucks is the problem in the story.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of problems in the story. Okay, go on.
Wait, what happened to your car again?
My garage wouldn't open and Staci couldn't. Dan and Josh are out of town. I don't remember if they were together or if they were separate.
I think that they were golfing and Levi had thrown up in the back of my car.
Great.
And so I was home with him. And then I was like, Shivani, why don't you just take my car? And she's like, yeah, puke in the back of your car. And I was like, touche. You're right.
True.
I do.
I couldn't get my garage open and Staci texts me in the morning.
We had like a power outage. We live right next to each other.
Did you just pull the red cord?
I didn't know how to do that at the time.
we were talking about that this week.
So then she texts me and she's like, I need you to take the kids to school today. Levi's been barfing all night. Can you take the girls? And I don't want to tell her my garage isn't opening. So I go, yeah, sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're such a good friend.
I know.
So then, but
that is so loyal.
And she's like, and I need their Starbucks orders. I was like, even better. They're gonna be so excited. And then she pulled up with Big Mike in the Uber.
You're so amazing. That's actually like amazing.
And then I say to Staci, I go, I gotta go to Starbucks, and she goes, why? And I'm like, she goes, skip the Starbucks. I go, no, it's Starbucks Wednesday. We don't
because we're very structured like that.
We don't skip.
We don't
Starbucks
deviate from
Wednesday.
the plan.
So,
and I was like, well, you can't just skip one Wednesday. I'll make you coffee.
I go, do I have to leave the kids in the car and go in and get the Starbucks, or what do I do? And she's like,
don't leave my children in.
It's like just send
Uber with some rando.
I go, I'll send the girls in because nobody's gonna steal the boys. It's the girls they'd want to steal. No one wants Krish and Nick. So
hopefully
I'll stay in the car.
They're cute. Oh.
Anyways, we got the Starbucks. Then the Uber driver drove me to Pilates. After we got to school and he goes, "Are we done yet?" And I go, "No, there's one more."
Wait, but so since starting hormones, do you feel like you would have still done that?
Yeah, I mean that's 100%. Just my personality
Yeah.
type. I'm
Okay.
OCD.
Yeah.
I like structure.
But you're less OCD now.
I don't know. I'm just less like miserably panicked.
Do you feel like the anger, like that internal, like I'm going to murder you, like homicidal rage is better?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Are
you
you
don't have
better?
to worry about me going to jail anymore.
Oh, that's good. It's always a positive.
Stacey goes, "Are you going to hurt yourself?" And I said, "Oh, no, don't worry about that. I'm just going to kill Josh."
Josh should run. He was in a bad, that was not good. It's not good. So you're feeling better though?
Yes. Okay. And I am sleeping better.
Good.
And I think it's interesting that like we as a generation are going to do so much better, right? Our moms white knuckled it through this.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't get help and that sucks for them.
I will never forget when I was a brand new baby nurse and I was on the orthopedics floor and this man came in and he was telling me how he took a few Mama's Little Helpers. And I was like, what? Who? And I had no idea what he was trying to tell me. He took like 5 Valium before he came to the hospital. That's what a Mama's Little Helper is.
Yeah.
And that term came from our mother's generation. So yeah, they weren't getting their hormones. They were taking benzos so that they weren't
Valium specifically
freaking out. Maybe, yeah.
I think that's what, it was Valium.
Valium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Very sad.
Ativan, but I think it was Valium. I don't remember. But that's what they did. That's just, they had to get through it.
So how much do you see this evolving for like our daughters?
I love how Shivani is now the host. This is so great.
This.
Okay.
She's like, tell me
It's
more.
it's totally going to evolve. I mean, it has to. It has to. But people are still not getting on board. I had another patient today that called me and she was like, I went and saw my gynecologist, who I looked her up and I don't know who she is. And she is like 42 and she's like, yeah, we don't put you on hormones until you're 48. I'm like, why is there a specific age?
Yeah.
Like,
that's such an arbitrary
why did we pick
number.
48? Like, just everybody's different.
Used to have to like have missed your period for a certain number of months. Oh, this seat's too low.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, but like the thing about like just going back to you, like Shivani, you're not even 40.
I'm only 38.
And
That's what's kind of sad about all this.
But your numbers are terrible.
Yeah, I'm not even making eggs.
You're like, you're almost like fully menopausal at this point.
So were mine at 40.
You know, so I can't say.
She was like, this is not new. Like, this has been going on for a while. When your follicle stimulating hormone is so freaking high. And I'm like, oh, that's why I've been having night sweats for a year and thinking I had cancer and trying to like,
yeah,
not address it.
You know what was interesting though? Yeah. I didn't I didn't have, when we went up to the lake last weekend, I didn't have my progesterone. I forgot it. And I totally woke up in cold sweats 3 times in the night.
Yeah, I don't sleep as well when I don't take it.
What's
or
the
was
cold
it the
sweats?
wine that we were drinking at the lake last week?
I mean,
don't drink wine all the time, but you need it once in a while. I think you just forgot your progesterone. Remember, I was like, "Where's your progesterone?"
Yeah, but why?
Because I needed to borrow one because I forgot mine.
We need to have a pharmacy in Eleanor.
I know. I was like, "Oh no, I forgot my progesterone." That's fine.
it's just a couple days.
I just needed one day.
Yeah.
I figured Shivani had it and she didn't. And then I was like, ripped her a
count
new,
on me.
and then I ripped her a new one, even though I forgot mine. Like I was
Yeah.
like, you can't be forgetting your progesterone. You're going to get endometrial cancer. This is not okay.
Explain that to me again now. Why
yeah,
can't?
great.
So,
So
oh no, I know. Now it's going to get in your head. Go ahead, Andrea.
So if you have a uterus, right, progesterone is progestation, so it keeps your uterus ready for a baby. And if you just have estrogen, then you're not protecting the uterine lining, essentially. So you want to make sure that you have a balance of the two so you don't have overgrowth of tissue in your uterus, which could become cancerous, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's
Yeah.
it. Good job.
Thanks.
But yeah,
I learned
was
from
like,
the
you.
best.
Thank you. Was it me? No. I was
Yes,
like,
you.
I was like, Siobhan, you can't do that. Like, you have to take your progesterone. But I think your
But you can
gynecologist
cycle
was
on and
wanting you to
off,
cycle
right?
it,
Like
too.
you can cycle.
I think she was supposed to
so-
cycle it during that time, but I didn't want her to be cycling it because it was a whole thing with her blood work. But it's fine. We got to
Everything's
figure it out.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have a tendency maybe sometimes where we're like, I want to try. Maybe we think we're not taking the best care of ourselves. So we're like, before I take any prescriptions, I should make sure that I'm eating well and I'm exercising.
Mhm.
Stace and I have a friend who like stood in her own way on this for a long time and was like, I don't want to, let me just get my like workouts right and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, but you're not going to get your workouts right because you're depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You're pissed and you hate life and you've got rage running through your veins and it's making you resentful at everyone and it's making you feel like a victim. It's like you can't play the chicken and egg game.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I hope that when it gets to like our kids, it's the same thing with mental health.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
People are talking about it more, so it
Mhm.
gets better.
Mhm.
And then it's the same thing with money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people talk about money as much as they should, but in my other life as a mortgage lender, like that's what I wish more for people to
Well,
do.
your primary life right now.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
to talk about what's working with them financially, what's not
Mhm.
working, less keeping up with the Jones, more open sharing of like, this is actually how we got to where we are now. And these are the
Mhm.
mistakes we made along the way. And this is how you could learn from them.
Yeah.
I think the more everybody talks about things,
Mm-hmm.
everything gets better.
Right.
Because the same was with motherhood for our moms.
Oh my God, it was so bad. It was really
Mhm.
hard. And then we started talking about it, and I hope our next generation it's easier for them because we're paving. I feel like we're kind of paving a little bit of the way, like our generation with all of this. I mean, obviously with hormones we are for sure, but then our girls don't have to like think this is so taboo, like any of this stuff, or you have to like figure it out themselves because it's hard to figure it out yourself. It's a lot.
It is. And for me, I don't have daughters, but I do have 7 nieces, and they're all from like 1 years old to 30 years old. And it's nice to see them just getting exposure, even through my social media, right?
Mhm.
I posted on my stories. I know they're seeing it. Whether or not they're going and actually listening to this podcast and learning anything, who knows? But it's like, oh yeah, my aunt said something about
Mhm.
that. Like, I'm hopeful that as they get older, if they have a moment in their life where they're like, oh God, I really don't feel well, maybe I should talk to my aunt, or maybe I should listen to that. Or
Mhm.
just knowing that like they're not alone and they're not crazy. Cause I think that's the biggest thing is most women feel like
Yeah.
their regular coping skills are no longer working
Right.
and that they're crazy.
I mean, do you think like in your new practice, then you're going to take so much more away from it because of what you've gone through
Oh, you mean like
with
being
like
able
mental health and yeah,
I wonder if I'll have any male clients ever.
I know. You might just have females.
Yeah, I mean, I want to help women talk about things that they're scared to, because not everybody has a friend group like we do,
Yeah.
which makes me sad
Mm-hmm.
because I think like I'd be dead in a ditch without my friend group for
Mhm.
sure,
Mm-hmm.
because they've taught me everything
Yeah,
from
for sure.
how to not wait in line at clubs to how to breastfeed, like all of it.
How to walk in those 4-inch stilettos, 100% at the club.
I just saw a
My
video.
God, my feet still hurt thinking about that.
My feet hurt today, actually. I
Mine
think
do
I wore
too.
4 inches stilettos. or it's just that it's the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, it's the same as what you guys, I think, are trying to do is I want to just help women be a better version of themselves because we can support each other through these transitions. I have 2 questions for you guys.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first one is, do you think that providers will change? Like, you're still not the majority.
No, I know.
No.
Most of them are still saying like less is more. How many periods have you missed? Blah, blah, blah. Before they're going to start hormone therapy. When do you see the medical industry catching up?
I think a lot of it is going to be patient demand, right? I think as more and more women find out about these things, then more medical providers are going to be incentivized to look into it more, because honestly, if you're a practicing provider and you've been outside of med school for many, many years, and like, why would you circle back and look at the new research, and why would you dig into this and get certifications?
ChatGPT is coming for your job.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Get certifications from the Menopause Society, unless you have a personal reason to, right? For us, the personal reason was we were going through it. But I do believe that as more and more women are saying, well, hold on, and they're starting to advocate for themselves, then I think it kind of incentivizes their doctors to go back and go, okay, well, maybe I need to revisit some of this literature. I know that new stuff is coming out. Let's look at it.
Well, I'm also hoping that like it starts to be taught more in schools.
Oh, well, for sure.
Because once it's taught more, then that next generation will know, because they don't teach it in schools. Like this isn't a thing.
And
if you get an hour of menopause training, like this is 15 to 20 years of like 50% of the population's life.
Okay, this is a curveball.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so no one talks about hormones for women over. They don't talk about it for menopause. They don't talk about it for perimenopause. They talk about it a little bit during your pregnancy. Oh, your hormones. Oh, postpartum, your hormones are still balancing. It takes 9 months to a year. They'll give you the warning. They don't really help you. They just tell you that this is what you should expect. But the one time we talk about hormones all the time is with teenagers.
I know.
We say everything is attributed to
Your
their
hormones.
Their hormones. Their hormones.
The new surge of hormones that is happening in their body.
What is your guys' take on this? Like, this needs to be nature running its course, or do you see people providing more education on hormone education for teenagers and for their parents and for the families as they're navigating? Because it's all the things you talked about. It's acne, it's mood swings, it's sexuality, it's everything, like coming to this volcano and erupting in an adolescent.
Yeah.
Where do you think the hormones conversation goes when we start talking about teenagers?
I think that you have to have that conversation with them, because there's not really, besides being on birth control, there's not much to do to change their hormones. They just need to be aware of it, because they're having this huge surge of hormones at their age, and it's, scary, and all the things are happening.
But there's things.
Are you talking about more like share program, or like more like educational
That's
programs?
what I was going to say. I wish that there was something like
That's
share.
not just like, but it's not
but
like
it's
share.
like, this is your follicular phase. This is what you should expect to feel.
But
this is
I think
your
it should be a little
luteal phase.
older too, because we had it in 5th grade, and that was like too young. Like I
got my period in 5th grade though.
You did? Oh yeah, you told me.
We'll
that.
find a way.
I got boobies in 3rd grade.
You had boobs in 3rd grade?
Yeah, I remember, because I had 2 older brothers.
This is why you're like going into menopause at 38.
Oh.
Well, I'm just assuming. I mean, that's really young.
I remember I was in 3rd grade and Arjun was awkwardly telling my mom that I needed a bra.
Oh.
Because she wasn't seeing it. And he's like, this is
What a good brother.
This is not okay. She has to wear a bra. And I was like mortified.
Oh.
And then I remember getting my period in 5th grade, and I was in Taekwondo growing up. I have a black belt. Watch out. But we wore all white, And I remember one day coming home from Taekwondo, and there was red all over my pants.
And nobody said anything to you?
I was training with Arjun. What was he gonna say?
You
go talk to mom.
Yeah. Well, you always remember that. That's really sad. That's very traumatizing. It's very sad.
But the reason I was thinking about the hormones with teenagers thing is like, there's got to be something we can do to better help families through these transitions, because I don't know, maybe it's diet. We're obviously not going to medicate teenagers, but like maybe it's like the lifestyle things. They're telling 40-year-old women who are in perimenopause, who are not meeting the criteria. They're like, well, just watch your diet and exercise. Yeah.
No, I think there is something to be said about like figuring out their diet. Like, cause there's different transitions. Like I have a lot of patients that are like, why do I have to do all this now? Like, I never had to do all this before. And I'm like, because you're transitioning. Like your body is changing. I mean, you're right. It's the exact same thing for like 12, 13, 14, 11 to 14-year-olds. Like their bodies are changing. Maybe we do need to have more education around that transitional period and like what foods would work best for them or, because a lot of them are getting into their own health at that point too. Like I know like, Easton, he's like, is he more into like his health now? Like eating certain things, like trying to do better things, like protein. They're seeing it on social media now, like the kids, which is great.
Sometimes, I mean, it's always a struggle with him because if left to his own devices, he'll just eat steak and like macaroni and cheese.
Well, he's got his.
But
carb and
that
his
said,
protein.
if I make a meal for him, like he will eat salmon, he will eat broccoli, he will eat cottage cheese and tomato. Like he's good at eating, but he's just kind of lazy.
Yeah,
I think.
Cottage cheese is one of those strange white people foods to me.
I love.
It's okay
cottage
sometimes.
cheese.
She does love it.
I've never tried
love
it.
You have never tried.
It
I'm
just
bringing
seems
over cottage cheese.
so weird.
I'm gonna make you eat it when we work out on Monday. Next Monday, I'm gonna feed it to you before.
You gotta like put salt and pepper, and then the green goddess seasoning from Trader Joe's.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
And then cherry tomatoes. You got to slice them up, and then maybe a little basil. It's almost like caprese,
Oh,
yeah.
right?
You're trying to make the
yeah.
cottage cheese burrata?
Pretty much.
Ooh.
That's exactly kind of the
I
idea.
do believe the clouds in heaven are made of burrata.
I do
I
feel
agree.
like burrata kind of tastes like cottage cheese. There's a weird taste to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Burrata
that.
tastes amazing.
Well, then
It
you
doesn't
should
really-
like you
there's
some
not
cottage
really a
cheese.
huge taste to it. All the cheese people are gonna freak out on me about that. I don't feel there's a huge taste to it.
How
to
did we start
burrata.
talking about burrata?
Well, burrata, yeah, it's
I
like
don't know. We just started-
burrata is mozzarella, right? Is there a difference between mozzarella and burrata?
yeah, it's mozzarella injected with more cream
Oh.
is what makes burrata.
Anyways, back to not cheese.
Sorry.
I agree with you. I do think that there should be, instead of share, where it's just like you're gonna have your period, there should be like a whole like inclusive, like integrated thing about like this is what your hormones gonna feel like, and this is why you're gonna feel like you're gonna rage.
The boys' hormones are out of control at that point too.
Right. Yes, they are. Yeah. Everybody's hormones are out of control at that
How do you, when this happens in your mind, I just wonder, like, where do we draw the line? Because I hear the things that come out, so I wonder what doesn't come out.
Oh, I had to tell you off screen. I think I told you the other day. Anyways, what other questions we have for Shivani? Now that we're definitely going down the tangent, we just keep on drinking. It's just going to keep on going further.
I got my questions answered. I'm good.
Do you have anything else?
I
you
love
wanna
that
say?
you came prepared with
Shivani.
questions.
Well, I mean, Andrea and I really started this because of Shivani.
Yeah.
Because she invited us to Futurist Female.
Mm-hmm.
And we had such great response that we were like,
Yeah.
we should do a podcast.
And it's too much
Mhm.
information to just go over and,
And there's always going to
45
be new
minutes.
things coming on.
Mhm.
And there's different people's experiences, and there's so many different ways to approach this, and every woman's experience is different. I think it'll be great. I think there's so much to unpack here. You guys could keep going with this
for sure.
for
I mean,
endless
there's
episodes.
there's so much. And it is like, I hear certain things and it's disheartening, like what I heard today. Like you cannot be on hormones until you're 48. And I'm like, what? We need to get more people on board, right? We need to get more people.
Well, and from
like,
my understanding,
educating.
like for us, right, because we are younger, to lose our estrogen so dramatically at such a young age, we are at such a high risk for heart attack, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis.
Neurosis.
It's almost criminal not to give us back some estrogen. It's
Mhm.
protective for so many different things.
Why do we have to wait till all the wheels are off the cart before we
Right.
start
Yeah,
helping?
I don't understand it. Like,
And I
let's
think,
put you on
again,
birth
it's just-
control, but we won't put you on a low dose estrogen patch that's half of that equivalent. I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, and it's we're not giving you anything new. It's what you've always had.
Mm-hmm.
You're just
Your E2.
yeah. It's bizarre.
I think they're scared
Yeah.
that we will take over the world if they remove some of our challenges. If they remove the inherent challenges, we are already the superior gender. What will happen? If you allow us to feel good
Mhm.
well throughout our 40s,
Mm-hmm.
once our kids are off the teat,
Mm-hmm.
what could we do?
So much.
We could take over the world.
Yeah.
And I feel that is intermingled with the idea of if women could learn how to truly lift each other
Mhm.
and not compete
Mhm.
and just be like, here, I'm going to adjust your crown, you adjust my crown, and like truly just love each other and help each other and not compete with one another, that would be,
Wouldn't it be amazing?
I think we would be unstoppable.
There's like,
actually.
there's That's why we like to do this together. Like we always
Mhm.
talk about, we have our own practices, but there's so many people that need help.
Well, and it's like
Like,
the
do-
community helps everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that women inherently don't want to be mean girls to each other. I don't think
I don't think they do
women
either.
inherently want to be backstabbing. I think it's been a function of the society we've been in
Mhm.
that was designed not by us.
Right.
That in order to survive, that's what they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think over time we'll see that. I hope, but I really think logically we will see it dissipate and that women will be more supportive and you'll see stronger community.
I feel like it already is with like the college kids. Like I've heard that they're very like building each other up. Like they're really into that, which I think is
Which is amazing.
fantastic.
And
Like,
I
we
think-
weren't mean girls, but people weren't like that in college. Like that wasn't how it was. There
No.
was mean people.
Yeah, but we didn't hang out with them.
No, because I'm perfect.
I think that the need for community will keep growing, especially as AI
Mhm.
takes off more and more.
Yeah.
People
The need
want
for human
community
connection.
will increase.
Yeah.
And anyways, so to put a bow on the mental health component of hormones, I just hope that women find a provider they can trust,
Mm-hmm.
and then from my own experience, learn from it. Once you find a provider you can trust them and do what they
Yeah.
say and see.
Mm-hmm.
3 months in, you could be a whole different person.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't, it's just like any other medication. Sometimes we have to not do that and do something different.
Adjust
So
and-
yeah, it just depends on everybody's different.
But it's worth feeling better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's worth going down the road and trying it to feel better.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
I'm glad you feel better.
Thanks.
Thanks
Me
to
too.
Shivani for
Mhm.
being on our podcast.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
You're amazing.
Love you.